Emma, Nancy, the Okay, this is game 2 of the Thanksgiving Prep Holiday Tournament. Connor McCabe is in net. It's like starting up front will be Wernick and Thielen flanking Kaiser, and then on D it'll be Freise and Donald. That's okay. I mean, if you don't want to, that's okay. Kaiser, Thielen comes away with it. Thielen in the zone. Along the boards. Donald goes back, retrieves, puts it along the corner. Thielen in the middle. Donald centers it to Kaiser. Kaiser turns, backhands it out to Wernick. Wernick chases into the corner. Kaiser goes to cut off. Freise and Brown on knees. Oh! Shot goes over the net. Delayed penalty apparently on Evanston. Tripping on Evanston. It'll be a 2-minute penalty kill. Trip on Luke Brown. The PK, it'll be Miller, Donald, Nicholson, and Lee. Penalty of 13-12 of the first period. Snagged by McCabe on the top of the blue line. Nicholson ties up. Cleared by Donald into the ice. Titus Lee on the forecheck. Caleb Nicholson intercepts, shot, saved by Yeti. Nicholson takes the puck in the corner, changes direction, ties him up behind, comes out with it with 3 Yeti on him. Nicholson still delaying, going back on forecheck. Puck comes out. Icing waved off for some reason. Nicholson comes away with it. Clears it out to the neutral zone. Titus steals it in the neutral. Oh, there's hooking penalty on Yeti. There's 51 seconds left in the Evanston penalty kill, so it'll be 4 on 4 for 51 seconds. Followed by 69-second power play for Evanston. Donald and Neal at the blue line. Kaiser and it's Wernick up front. Oh no, Alvarez up front, sorry. Save on the shot by Neal. Kaiser. Alvarez backs him up. Alvarez and Kaiser in the corner. Kaiser with pressure. Icing called on Yeti. Saying 4, stay on the ice for the faceoff.
Here we go, Yeti!
Kaiser back to Neal. Neal passes across ice. Pass tip. Donald. Neal knocks it away. Alvarez comes out with it. Skates to the blue. 5 seconds left on the Brown penalty. Alvarez with pressure. Alvarez takes it. Centers it. Kaiser with a backhanded shot. Goes wide. Wernick comes out. Evanston's on the power play. Donald cross ice to Wernick. Wernick's shot is blocked. Neal puts it in the corner. Donald passes it to Wernick. Wernick's shot's blocked. Oh, Wernick shot. Nope. Saved by Yeti. 30 seconds left in the Evanston power play. Evanston's changes up. It'll be Nicholson, Bostwick, and Lee up front. Miller and Friese on D. Nicholson corner gets it to Lee. Back to Miller. Miller's shot's blocked. Nicholson along the boards. Nicholson back to Miller. Miller's shot's blocked again. Miller back on D. Knocked away by Friese, and then Nicholson comes away with it. Teams are at even strength now, 5-on-5. Friese on D. Comes over to Miller's side. Bostwick with pressure in the corner. Miller in the corner now. Friese. Saved by McCabe. Titus Lee on the breakaway. Delayed penalty on Yeti. Now it's penalty called. I think he called a roughing penalty for 2 minutes. 9:16 in the first period. In the Evanston power play, it'll be Brown and Donnell in back. Kaiser, Wernick, and Veland up front. Kaiser back to Brown. Brown over to Wernick. Wernick tries the center, pass is blocked. Donnell stops it. Tries to go D to D. Cleared by Yeti. McCabe sets it up for Donnell. Donnell stops, changes direction. Donnell gets it out of the zone. Wernick comes up, put pressure. Donnell backhand into Veland. Veland tips on that. Clearing by Yeti. Kaiser moves the first defender. Pass over to Wernick. Donnell's shot's blocked partially. Brown comes up. Donnell's back on knee. Donnell again. Wraparound attempt goes wide. Luke Brown. Brown tries to backhand it. Donnell's back. Shot saved by McCabe. 7:51 left in the first period, 35 seconds left in the power play. Nicholson at the dot. Friese and Miller on D. Alvarez and Lee are the wings. Nicholson wins it over to Friese, chips it forward to Lee. Nicholson comes out with it. Nicholson, shot's blocked by Eddie. Friese, over to Miller. Miller shot's deflected high. Alvarez. Lee's back on D. Comes on Miller's side. Kept in by Yeti. Frizy. Frizy centers it. Puck's cleared. Icing. 7:02 left in the first period. It'll be Miller and Frizy remaining on D. Bostwick, Kaiser, and Wernick up front. Kaiser ties it up. Pass by Wernick back to Miller. Miller wraps it around the boards. Wernick in the far corner. Wernick gains possession, centers it. Shot by Bostwick. Oh, excuse me, by Kaiser. Frizy pinches. Miller comes over. Backhands it all the way to Kaiser. Kaiser, Wernick. Kaiser, Wernick. Oh. Goes down Frizy's side, but Brown retrieves. Brown shoots it back along the boards. Bostwick on the back check, knocks the puck away. Frizy, Wernick. Put in deep by Yeti. Bostwick with pressure. Dump blocked by Kaiser. Wernick on the forecheck. Kaiser, forecheck. Wernick comes up. Frizy. Yeti at center ice. Wernick steals the puck. Wernick enters the zone. Gets it in deep. Luke Brown on the forecheck. Reversed. Nicholson comes over, wins the race. Gets it deeper in the corner. Puck under the goal line. Eli Neal goes back to retrieve. Neal over to Luke Brown. Luke Brown up to Titus Lee. Titus cross ice towards Alvarez. Alvarez back to Brown. Brown along the boards to Nicholson. Nicholson skates in, shoots. Shots deflected high. Neal pinches, gets the puck in. Down to the dots. Nicholson comes out with it underneath the goal line. Centering pass by Alvarez. Luke Brown gets the puck in down the goal line. Nicholson again. Neal comes over. Neal passes it up to Alvarez. Ready to keep it in, get the puck in deep in the corner. Luke Brown. Brown gets it out of the zone. Alvarez on the forecheck. Joel Frizy. Frizy up to Dielan. Frizy goes back. Gets in the corner, wraps it around to Donald. Donald back to Frizy. Frizy up to Kaiser. Kaiser attempts to get to Dielan. Pass is blocked. Kaiser on the forecheck. Puts pressure on. Wernick takes it. Stays on side. Frizy knocks the puck away. Grabbed by McCabe. Kaiser. Kaiser passes it off the backboard to Frizy. Frizy back to Kaiser. Puck is kept in the zone. Frizy tries to knock it out. Donald now. Shot for the top. far. Wernick, or Kaiser from Wernick. Puck comes down, Donald deflects the shot. Thielen takes the body along the board. Pricey. Kaiser knocks the puck up high. Thielen gets it out of the zone. Thielen passes it over to Wernick. Wernick has it knocked away. Thielen with pressure. Donald. Accelerates in the offensive zone. Blocks the clearing attempt. Luke Brown keeps it in too. Nicholson comes out with it. Nicholson still. Nicholson keeps possession. Luke Brown's shot is blocked by Eddie. Icing with 1:59 left on the clock. Goes by Alvarez. Alvarez across to Nicholson. Titus Lee. Lee over to Nicholson. Nicholson over to Alvarez. Back to Luke Brown. Corner to Alvarez. Alvarez centers. Nicholson. Nicholson. Up to Alvarez. Alvarez regains possession. Backhand to Nicholson. Nicholson shots blocked. Yeti come out with it. Puck comes down Miller's side. Offside. Kaiser, Wernick up front, Brown and Miller. Luke Brown, puck gets by Miller. Miller goes back to retrieve. Kaiser up to Wernick. Wernick dumps it in. On net. Yeti clear to the corner. Kaiser comes up with it. Bostwick now behind the net. Centers it to Wernick. Goal! Bostwick on the assist. Wernick with the goal. Evanston scores 37.5 left in the first period. Wernick from Bostwick. Same five stay on the ice for the face-off. Kaiser over to Bostwick. Outside. Kaiser back to Brown. Brown changes direction. Up to Wernick. Wernick clears the zone. Bostwick on the forecheck. Miller comes up. Goes behind the net. Brown. Net comes off. 7.7 seconds left in the period. Face off to the right of McCabe. Looks like it'll stay Kaiser, Wernick, and Bostwick, Brown, and Miller. Oh no, it comes out of the zone. goes back to retrieve. End of the first period. Evanston up 1-0. Start of the second period, I'll have Donald and Neil at D, Lee, Alvarez at the wing, and Nicholson at the dot. McCabe's still in net. Lee comes away with it. Lee shot, saved by Yeti. Same five stay on the ice. Puck comes back towards Donald. Alvarez intercepts. Alvarez passes it over to Lee. Shot wide. Alvarez. Lee with pressure. Puck comes out. Neil keeps it in. Neil comes up again. Nicholson comes away with it. Nicholson shot high. Nicholson goes and gets his own rebound along the boards, comes out to Donald. Neil goes back, retrieves, skates behind his own net, leaves it for Donald. Nicholson comes away with it. Nicholson over the blue. Nicholson chases, gets it in deep. Alvarez in the corner. Alvarez back to Donald. Taken away by Yeti. Yeti's pass intercepted by Neil. Neil out to Nicholson. Nicholson over the red. Alvarez shot. Nicholson goes back to try to retrieve. Nicholson intercepts slow on the edge. Nicholson comes away with the puck again. Out to Donald. Shot blocked by Yeti. Clearing attempt by Yeti. Donald keeps it in. Donald cross ice to Wernick. Wernick shot. Save. Wheeling up front. Shots blocked. Miller blocks the clearing attempt. Next one gets out. Donald back on D. Nicholson in the corner. Nicholson tries to clear, gets it out to Wernick. Zealand, Wernick. Miller intercepts the pass. Donald surveys. Kaiser comes over. Donald kicks it. Miller clears it. Thielen on the forecheck. Wernick cuts it off along the boards. Kaiser comes up, takes a swipe. Wernick now on the forecheck. Kaiser's pressure. Miller. Kaiser now. Miller. Back to Donald. Donald changes direction. Kaiser takes the puck. Kaiser gets it forward. Goal by Yeti at 10:44. One 10:44 left in the second period. Bostwick, Nicholson, and Alvarez up front. Frizy and Miller will be D. Nicholson. Nicholson still fights for it. Unvalid it. Bostwick down the forecheck. Catches it, then Alvarez comes over. Miller comes up. Puck's scooted behind him. Frizy over to Nicholson. Nicholson with pressure again. Frizy goes to corner, retrieves, pushes it around the other side to Miller. Miller has it. Miller over the red. Cleared by Yeti. Or nice. Kaiser, Bostwick, and Alvarez up front. Miller and Frizy on D. Alvarez tries to get back to Frizy. Alvarez comes up with it. Alvarez down deep to Kaiser. Kaiser in the corner. Alvarez comes over to help Kaiser. Before Frizy's up with the boards. Frizy comes out with it. Frizy down along the goal line. Centers. Kaiser. Kaiser attempts to get the shot off. Frizy comes up. Frizy kicks it forward to Alvarez. Alvarez centers. Ready to come out. Frizy knocks the puck down. Miller comes around, grabs it. Miller. Puck goes to the opposite corner. Kaiser knocks down the clearing attempt. Keeps possession along the boards. Comes over to help Kaiser. Delayed penalty on Evanston, apparently. Holding penalty on Ben Thielen. 2 minutes at 8:36 of the second period. PK will start out with Eli Neal and Luke Brown. Henry Wernick and Owen Kaiser up front. Wernick with pressure at the blue. Shot covered up by McCabe. Eight seconds elapsed to the penalty kill. Same four. Kaiser ties up the center. Another Yeti comes in, tries the center. Luke Brown intercepts, clears the length of the ice. Kaiser on the forecheck. Gains control of the puck. Reverses back. Ties it up behind the net. Wernick now. Wernick intercepts. Delayed offside. Evanston tags up. Now Wernick on the forecheck. Wernick tips the pass. Nicholson intercepts. Nicholson now. Nicholson shot. Covered up by Eddie. 1:04 left in the penalty kill. That'll be Nicholson, Lee, Frizey, and Donald. Nicholson lost the puck. Nicholson with pressure. McCabe covers up. 53 seconds left in the penalty kill. Same four stay on the ice. Frizey. Frizey goes over to get it. Frizey clears. Forward length of the ice. Comes up. Nicholson challenges at the blue line. Knocks it away. Nicholson. Comes in, shot. Lee, Donald. Donald throws it in the opposite corner. 20 seconds left in the penalty kill. Nicholson with pressure. Forces the errant pass. Alvarez back to Frizey. Frizey to Nicholson. Nicholson enters the zone. Nicholson throws it towards the corner. Alvarez retrieves. Donald over to Alvarez. Up to Nicholson. Nicholson. Kaiser gets retrieved in the corner. Nicholson. Self pass to himself behind the net. Shots blocked. Alvarez comes in. Kaiser reaches. Frizey knocks it away. Yeti come away with it. Shot wide. Frizey up and scores to the blue line. Kept in. Donald. Donald comes out with it. Donald, backhander. Wernick gets it. Goal by Henry Wernick at 5:30 in the second period. Wernick, Kaiser, and Veland up front. Brown and Miller on D. Brown comes in with it. Brown enters. Brown shot. Thrown to the corner by Yeti. Brown backhander. Brown takes the puck away. Wernick to Brown. Brown tries the shot. Gets a rebound. Veland and Brown both there. Wernick comes over with pressure, knocks it away. Brown Brown. Miller. Miller throws it in the center. Kaiser keeps it in. Kaiser shot blocked. Miller shot blocked. Miller along the boards, backed up by Kaiser. Puck goes into the Evanston bench. It'll be Nicholson, Alvarez, and Bostwick up front. Neal and Donald at D. Pressure Neal. Neal gets it. Neal puts it in the corner for Nicholson. Nicholson comes away. The center shot. Blocker save. Neal comes up. Donald backhands it to Nicholson. Caleb Nicholson over the blue. Over to Alvarez. Nicholson. What is...
There was a couple before he even...
Yeah. Which one are you going to pick out of that one? Okay, penalty to Yeti at 3:53 of the second.
There's a sport that's allowed.
It'll be Brown and Donald up front. Nicholson, Wernick, and Kaiser. Kaiser at the wing, Nicholson taking the face-off. Nicholson over to Brown. Brown shot. Deflected by Yeti defenseman. Nicholson now with pressure behind. Nicholson. Nicholson over to Wernick. Wernick back to Nicholson. Nicholson shot blocked. Kaiser comes over. Wernick grabs it. Wernick in the corner. Nicholson now with pressure on Yeti. Brown shot is blocked. Cleared by Yeti. Donald goes to retrieve. Shot goes up into the net. Saved by McCabe. 1:11 left in the power play. Same five stay on the ice for Evanston. Kaiser wins it over to Brown. Brown takes it back. Brown passes up to Wernick. Now Kaiser battling. Like we're taking one Yeti and Kaiser to the box with 2:47 left. And they're not putting them up on the board, so the offsetting, so it'll be 5-on-4. For another 54 seconds. Wernick over to Donald. Donald skates it out. Brown knocks the puck away from Yeti. Brown shot blocked. Thielen comes up. Thielen has the puck knocked away. Luke Brown knocks it back. Thielen now centers the puck. Brown Over to Donald. Donald, stick handles in. Gets a shot off goal. Goal by Isaiah Donald. Evanston power play goal by Isaiah Donald. 3-1, 2:15 left in the second period. Still have the offset reminders. Having Frizy and Miller on D. Nicholson at the dot, flanked by Lee and Bostwick. Nicholson back towards Frizy. Miller tips it forward. Frizy goes. Yeti in the corner. Yeti centers. Bostwick. Okay, Miller up to Nicholson. Nicholson shot. Again, Bostwick. Nicholson over to Frizy. Frizy comes up, centers it to Lee. Nicholson centers it. Miller keeps it in. Now it goes out. Frizy cross ice to Bostwick. Bostwick gets the puck in deep. Nicholson goes on the forecheck. Now Lee. Frizy keeps it in. Bostwick keeps it in. Bostwick with the shot. Both teams at even strength, 53.8 seconds left in the second period. Be Neal and Brown at D. Alvarez, Wernick, and Velan up front. Alvarez has it, Velan. Alvarez comes over, Velan centers. Alvarez with pressure. Neal. Luke Brown. Brown gets it out. Delayed offside. Neal comes up with it. Neal up to Velan. Velan tips. Luke Brown gets the puck in deep. 15 seconds left in the period. Icing on Yeti. 3.1 seconds left. Evanston will pull its. Oh, nope, they won't. Alvarez, Wernick, Velan up front, Brown and Neal at D. Alvarez over to Velan, Velan shot. Back. 3-1 at the end of two. There, start the third. It'll be Nicholson, Lee, and Alvarez up front. Surprising and Donald. Goes back to Donald. Donald cross ice in direction of Lee. Lee comes away with it. Nicholson. Nicholson stays with it. Comes down, Alvarez puts pressure. Nicholson now. Frizy. Donald. Frizy. Nicholson. Caleb Upton. Titus Lee. Caleb Nicholson chips it in. Titus Lee keeps it in the zone. Shot, blocked. Nicholson comes away with it. Donald up to Alvarez. Elliot Alvarez. Passes in the corner. Nicholson goes for it. Donald shot. Save. Donald. Cross ice. Veland. Back to Miller. Miller skates up. Miller has it knocked away. Veland. Miller dumps deep. Wernick intercepts the clearing attempt. Wernick shot. Blocker save. Wernick centers it towards Veland. Kaiser now. Kaiser keeps the puck in the zone. Gets down. Gets by. Luke Brown on D. Saved by McCabe. Kaiser, Wernick, and Veland stay out along with Miller and Brown. Kaiser over to Miller. Miller to the boards. Puts it forward but loses possession. Luke Brown now in the corner. Kaiser, Miller, Brown. Brown tries to clear. Kaiser in the corner. Miller comes over. Brown. Brown skates it out. Up to Veland. Veland cross ice to Wernick. Wernick in. Pass it to Veland. Veland to Brown. Shot. Gloved by Yeti. 11:21 left in the third. Alvarez with the backhand shot. Donald now. Donald shot. Gets through. Stick saved by Yeti. Alvarez over to Nicholson. Nicholson shot. Oh! Nicholson's pass back to Alvarez. Donald now. Donald pinches. Managed to get his stick on the puck. Alvarez now. Alvarez over to Lee. Alvarez now. Alvarez shot. Blocked. To Nicholson. Nicholson stick handles. 9. Tries to center it. Titus Lee now. Fights, gets back possession. Titus back to Donald. Isaiah Donald. Donald over to Alvarez. Alvarez chips it to Lee, towards Lee. Alvarez. Lee. Neal. Alvarez up on the forecheck. Bostwick intercepts. Donald off the boards to Nicholson. Caleb Nicholson. Bostwick on the forecheck. Pressure. Miller comes up. Donald. Wernick. Kaiser. Kaiser comes out. Kaiser over to Wernick. Got glove, save. Can't hold on to it though. Kaiser now with pressure. Kaiser backed up by Wernick. Bostwick comes over. Frizy stick handles, backhand shot. Wernick ties him up in the corner. Now Wernick gains possession, back to Frizy. Frizy over to Wernick. Icing on Yeti. 8:40 left in the third period. Front line changes up to Nicholson, Alvarez, Lee. Defense stays at Frizy and Miller. Nicholson back to Frizy. Over to Miller. Miller misses it. Miller back to Frizy. Miller up to Lee, towards Lee. Icing on Yeti. Face off to the right of the Yeti goalie. Same five stay on the ice. .8:16 left in the third. Nicholson, Lee, Miller steps up. Puck gets by him. Miller recovers. Nicholson now on the forecheck. Miller chips it forward. Nicholson steals. Nicholson to center ice, to the center of the ice. Nicholson comes away with it. Eli Neal. Neal controls the puck, skates it forward into the zone. Back to Alvarez. Alvarez shot. Blocked by Yeti D. Alvarez now with pressure. Nicholson. Neal steps up. Pass it back to Brown. Luke Brown forward to Ben Veland. Icing on Evanston. 7:15 left in the third. Wernick, Kaiser, Veland up front, Neal, Brown on D. Kaiser ties him up, Wernick comes out with it. Gets the puck out of zone. Veland now on the forecheck. Yeti backhands it into the zone. Neal comes up with it. Cross ice to Brown. Brown shifts it forward to Kaiser. Brown again. Veland now. Veland back to Neal. Neal up to Kaiser. Brown. Brown gets the puck in deep. Wraps around Wernick now in the corner. Frizy over to Brown. Brown enters the zone onside. Over to Kaiser. Veland comes up along with Brown. Veland kicks it to himself. Shot. Saved by Yeti. Puck comes out to Frizy. Frizy backhands it to Wernick. Wernick now. Wernick up to Veland. Veland back to Wernick. Wernick wide. Wernick centers it. Kaiser can't quite get there. Frizy. Delayed offside. Evanston tags up. Donald now. Donald to Kaiser. Kaiser out of the zone. Lee now with pressure. Donald retrieves behind the net. Versus back to Frizy. Frizy now. Leaves it for Donald. What comes back to gets himself. Now Donald. Donald back to Frizy. Dave McKay. Kaiser wraps it around, not quite out. Kaiser takes a weird bounce off the corner board where the Zamboni comes out. Kaiser knocks the puck away. Kaiser gets it, clears the lane. Gets the icing. 4:53 left in the third. Alvarez, Nicholson, and Lee up front. Miller and Brown back on D. Nicholson comes away with it. Up to Alvarez. The red line to Yeti. Alvarez. Over the corner for Brown. Brown shoots it behind the net for Miller. Miller up to Lee. Lee over to Nicholson. Miller comes over. Pressure. McCabe covers. .424 left in the third period. Same five stay on. Luke Brown gets the puck out of the zone. Icing is waved off. Alvarez goes forecheck. Luke Brown is pinched. Nicholson now. Miller comes over the puck. Titus Lee. McCabe. Shot blocked by their own player. Luke Brown up. Caleb Nicholson skates it out. Alvarez. Bostwick takes the body. Two minutes for tripping on Yeti. They're supposed to have orange coats, I thought, for their team. Puck comes around. Luke Brown. Brown passes it over to Wernick. Wernick shot block. Wernick gets back. Nicholson. Wernick. Cleared by Yeti. Brown attempts the cross-ice pass to Wernick. Goes wide. 2:49 left in the third. 1:16 left on the power play. Evanston up 3-1. Wernick, Kaiser, and Bostwick up front. Donald and Brown on D. Kaiser ties it up. Brown comes in. Donald with pressure before the shot. Luke Brown comes out with the puck. Brown skating along the far boards. Brown Wernick. Brown. Brown attempts to pass center is Bostwick. It's blocked. Wernick now back to Kaiser. Kaiser over to Donald. Donald passes it over to Wernick. Wernick. Brown. Brown shot. Stick side save. 2:07 left in the period. 34 seconds left in the power play. Nicholson, Lee, and Alvarez come out. D stays at Brown and Donald. Alvarez. Back to Nicholson. Lee back to Donald. Back to Alvarez. Alvarez gets the puck in deep. Donald lets the puck down. Luke Brown. Brown takes it in. Changes direction. Donald's back on knee. Alvarez has the man coming down the center. Block by McCabe. Penalty at 1:05 of the third. Looks like it's 2-minute penalty on Titus Lee for roughing. D will be Luke Brown and Isaiah Donald, Alvarez and Nicholson up front. The 1:05 left in the third. Nicholson, Luke Brown. Brown wraps it around. Puck comes out to the blue line. Alvarez with pressure. Skips over Luke Brown's stick. Brown tries to clear Alvarez too. Nicholson, Donald to the corner. Donald gets it. Donald clears the length of the ice. Eddie has obviously pulled their goalie, so it's 6-on-4. Nicholson comes up. Nicholson ties it up right outside the O-zone. Alvarez. Alvarez's shot is blocked. Luke Brown offside. 18.1 seconds left. Kaiser comes out, pair with Nicholson up front, Brown and Donald in D. Luke Brown on the forecheck. Donald comes up. Kaiser. Nicholson now in the corner, centering pass goes wide. Goal block. Evanston 3 goals on 26 shots. Yeti 1 goal on 16 shots.